Very common concept that you hear all the time from people is people tell you, enjoy the moment. Right? Be in the moment, enjoy the moment. So, sounds like a very good idea, but practically, what does it mean? And if it means anything, most of the times, it means absolutely nothing. Because if you look at it this way, time is an entity, is a dimension that keeps on moving and evolving all the time. In time, people think that we have what? Past,
present,
future, and future. The truth of the matter is that all we have is either past or future. There's no such thing as present, because every moment that passed belongs to the past, and every moment that didn't arrive yet belongs to the future, and there's never such thing as now, because time does not freeze. In order to freeze time and to be in the moment, you got to be outside of the dimension of time. And to most part, that's impossible. To most part. Now, because of that, you have either people who are stuck in the past and people who are stuck in the future. And what do I mean by stuck in the future? Is, don't worry, it's going to be good, and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, they're living miserable life, thinking that, so on, it's going to get, in some kind of a point in the future, it's going to get better. When I retire, it's going to get better. Meanwhile, they put one foot after the other to the end of the life, and it never gets better. And those people who live in the past, remember what I used to do, and what used to be, and how things were yesterday, and when in the past, years ago, it was so much better than today, and in the homeland it was like this, and they never live in anywhere. They're basically stuck somewhere in the past. And that is to many people like this. They're always thinking about the high school sweetheart instead of trying to find a real wife for themselves, or anything of that sort, how athletic I used to be, and right now I look like more like a volleyball or like a beach ball or something of that sort. How do I get out of this? How do I get out of this trap of time without being lost? How do I, as I wrote to you yesterday, right? You cannot add days to your life, but you should be able to add life to your days. How do I actually implement that? What do I do? Of course, with the grace of God, He did not leave us out of sorts. We have such thing as called a Torah. But not necessarily just Torah, because sometimes we can get stuck in the past or in the future, even learning Torah if we learn it wrong. Chazal tells us, "Ein lecha bet midrash belo chidush." There's no such thing as going to the Bet Midrash, and if you're learning, and you're not involved with some kind of a new concept of new idea. The beauty of the Torah, and what really helped Am Yisrael throughout the generation, is not only looking and expecting for the better, but always adopting and learning new things all the time as they go. Well, what I'm trying to tell you is the following. Don't enjoy the moment, because there's no such thing as enjoying the present. Maybe you could enjoy a process, but once you get stuck in the moment, you're stuck in the past. What you need to do is, especially that it's summer to some of you guys who go to college and so on and so forth, is something that I told you before, and it has to do with keeping the beginner's mind. You need to learn something new all the time. When you are involved in learning something new, when you are involved in renewal, constant renewal, you're never going to get stuck in the past, and your future looks promising because you're always learning new things, and you're adapting, and you're creating a better chance for you to get up and actually say, you know what, cannot wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be a better day from today, because I'm going to learn something new. But when you are not learning anything new, When you are involved in absolutely nothing, sitting in front of the TV or in front of a computer or whatever it is that you're doing, and you know what, even if you watch a Western, you can actually learn something from it. If you're just passive, being passive and not learning and not being active, involved in the process, there's no hope. And there's no hope. The only thing that is like trying to reminiscing about yesterday's, remembering about the glory days. Like you meet certain people, all they talk about is like, oh, remember we were in high school, remember we went to the army, remember what we used to do, what we used to do, we used to do. Okay, what are you going to do? I don't know, I just cannot wait to go to pension. You need to make sure that you learn something good or something new every day. That you are involved in learning new things. And now, how could it be that I'm going to learn Torah and not be involved with that? Very simple. If you close and restrict the learning of Torah, I think, for example, that guys who learn in yeshiva could be such top scientists and top thinkers in the world to really become Or Lagoyim, a light to the nations. Look at the beauty of Judaism during the Golden Era in Spain, when we had the greatest Torah, maybe in I would say even, okay, let's say modern Jewish history, and yet the people were poets, there were artists, there were writers, there were doctors, there were everything. They were able to combine both together through the process of renewal and learning new things. If you're going to tell me that it's not, the only way you're going to do so is by restricting my approach. How can you, for example, learn Torah and not understand basic science? Not understanding scientific concepts? How can you explain, for example, the concept of bishul, of what is constitutes of halachic cooking without understanding basic physics? If you don't understand the concept of T1 and T2 equals delta T, what's clearly shown and what's kli sheni, cham letoch tzonen, hot into cold, cold into hot? What's the difference? Well, there's a big difference. If you don't understand that, if you just pasking because of concepts, not because of reality, of checking and so on and so forth, I think you're limiting yourself, and then eventually making the Torah into a very secluded thing that is either belongs to the past or is stuck somewhere in an imaginary point in the future that you're never going to reach. If you understand, that's my opinion. And again, it's okay for not to disagree with that. It's okay to disagree with that. There's no problem. No hard feeling. But listen to what I'm telling you. Maybe the reason why we are stuck so much in exile and deep exile, losing so many people, is because the point in the future seems impossible to get, because nothing is en chadash tachat hashemesh. It's all the same old, same old. Why? I think if you're going to go and learn physics, you're going to become an Apikoros? No, absolutely not. Yet there was a few years ago, 12 years ago, the guy who won Nobel Prize in chemistry, the guy was a frum guy that would not walk on Shabbat to the thing and follow all the halachic protocols and not bow down to anybody and so on and so forth. And that was perfectly fine. It wasn't the first and only one. There were many frum people who received Nobel Prizes and recognitions and so on and so forth, right? In the world, not necessarily Nobel Prize, even rewards. Look at Professor Danishevsky, a very frum person, more than I think every reward out there when it comes to the world of chemistry. Don't close yourself up. Make sure you learn something new. Now, I don't care if you're going to take a project during the summer of learning a language. If you're going to sit every day 1 hour to learn a language, half an hour in the morning, half an hour at night, at the end of 2 months, you're going to know a language, a new language, much better than you know today, because today you don't know anything. I don't care if you're going to learn quantum physics, take some beginner courses. Yes, you can go on YouTube and watch. It's okay to learn stuff on YouTube if you are learning the right thing. If you're wasting your time, it's a waste of time. It doesn't make a difference what you do. You can waste some time in yeshiva and fall asleep. That's also a waste of time. If you go to yeshiva and you learn, and you're not looking to learn something new to clarify things, it's also a waste of time. And I don't care if you're going to learn, wood carving. Learn something new, and make sure that you learn something new all the time. All the time. That's that's the true spirit of Torah. According to me, that's Torah, the kind of a concept. Why when you're coming to learn, you have to come. If you come to Bet HaMedrash, you're going to learn something new. If you don't learn something new, there's something is wrong. How can you go another day without something new? Why? Because today was not like yesterday, and you're not supposed to be like you were yesterday. Why? Because if you are, you're basically spiritually dead. The only thing that is unchanged is the dead. Even they change. The world always changing, evolving, changing. To be stuck in the past is the worst thing. You need to make sure you learn something new all the time. And I do challenge you to learn something new. It doesn't make a difference. You can learn judo as a new thing. You can learn new technique, new things. Learn to play an instrument. Learn how to play a flute. Take a recorder. Learn how to play a recorder. Learn how to read notes. Learn something. But just to go another day without learning something new means you're stuck. And if you're stuck, you're dead. Why do you want to do that? How are you going to tell me that you're looking forward for the future if you're stuck in the past? How are you going to tell me you're looking forward for the future if you're not doing anything to move towards the future? Only then, when you elevate yourself above the past and the future, only then you can actually enjoy the present, because everything becomes an enjoyable thing. There is actually meaning in your life. There is sense of purpose in your life. And if you're not learning something new, there is no purpose for you, and therefore you cannot do anything, and you become as superficial as everybody else around the block. And I'm throwing you the glove. I want you to go pick it up. I want you to learn something new, and your approach will be like this. That's why you need to write things down. That's why you need to write things down. And when you write things down, ideas will come, because you go through a different type of processing in your head. Some people are more auditory, some people are more visual, some people are a combination of both. You need to apply all of it. That's why you need to speak when your chavruta learns. Don't just let him do it, because that's going to be your auditory. You need to read things. When you read things out loud, you need to write things, because it's going to be visual. You need to read it, and all of a sudden all of a sudden you say, oh my goodness, I remember that. The reason why you don't remember what you learn is because you don't apply any kind of a learning process into you, any renewal, not visual, not auditory, and then you wonder why you don't learn, you don't remember anything. You know why you don't remember anything? Because you didn't learn anything. And you only learned something new, and if you didn't do it, so you didn't learn. And if I would be concerned, where did the day go without me learning anything? Become an expert, in plants, expert in something. Learn something new. And this is really going to bring us to the point in the future we are looking for, to actually see Mashiach. And this is how we bring Mashiach. That's how we bring redemption to all of us. Have a great day.